Hey there, my traveling foodie friends. Let's talk Paris, France. Let's talk about the 3 places I am going to suggest to you that have, they have just made Paris really fantastic. Usually it's like the countdown, 3, 2, 1, right? Well, let's do that. So coming in at number 3 is in the Marais neighborhood. Now, I can't pronounce it because I usually completely tear up French, so I'm gonna have my Google lady say it for me. If I could flip this around, which I apparently can't. Okay, so I'm gonna just show you my screen and she's gonna say it.
Au Merveilleux de Fred.
Au Merveilleux de Fred. I can repeat, and I can read it, and I can understand it, but I usually can't say it very well. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the link to the actual website in the description in YouTube below, so you can click on it. I'll also put the address down in there. It's, like I said, in Le Marais. I think it's pronounced Le Marais neighborhood. That neighborhood usually doesn't have a whole lot of tourists in it, although the tourists are starting to know, and in the food areas, they are starting to go. You're thinking, okay, what does this Au Merveilleux de Fred, see, I'm terrible at it. What do they have? Well, let me show you what they have. Again, I'm going to flip my camera around. They have these things, and you're like, well, what are they? And my answer is, I hope I'm showing them on the camera. My answer is, I don't know what they are. But what I can tell you is when you even get close to this place, you will know, because it smells so divine. You're gonna wish you were a homeless person living right outside this store. It's so incredible, the smell. When you bite into these, which is one of many flavors, they fall apart in your mouth and they melt in your mouth. My husband and I, my mouth is watering just thinking about them. My husband and I stumbled upon these. We were on one of the free walking tours in the neighborhood, and she kind of stopped and was talking right outside of this shop, and I was like, what is that smell? And so she's like, oh yes, those are very good. You should come back and have one of those. So we did after the tour, and they were phenomenal. So we stood in this really long line, and I promise you there will be a line, and I promise you it is worth it. So we stood in this line, we eat one each, and we're like, yeah, get back in line. And we literally went back and got probably 12 more, I think is what, 12 or 16 is what the box holds, and we bought the biggest box they offered, and we enjoyed them the next few days while we were in Paris. Now, I will say that I would have rather had fresh as the days go by, and I think they're meant to be eaten fresh, because they started getting a little not as fresh as the days when man, they are so good. Now, they do have at least one location that I know of in Manhattan in New York. I have been there. It doesn't taste the same. I was so sad. We searched it out. We had them in New York, and if that was my first experience having one of these, I would have never wanted one again. So I cannot, more highly enough, say, for a sweet treat, this is it. But let's be honest, everything I'm going to talk about, these 3 things, are all sweet treats, but they're so worth it. They're life-changing, what I'm about to tell you. Okay, let's go down to number 2. It is from, also in the Marais neighborhood, is called the Breizh Café. Again, I will put the address and information down in the description. Let's talk about what they have. At the Breizh Café, you're gonna see, well, let's talk about location. There's an actual restaurant with many tables and many chairs, and then right next door to the Breizh Café, it's like a little market and a table. You want to go to that one. And when you get in there, they give you a menu, and you're gonna see many things that look so good. Don't get those yet. Get the Salted Caramel Buckwheat Crepe. It will change your life. Not even kidding. It's one of the most incredible things I have ever eaten. I will flip my camera around. It looks like that. And it is phenomenal. I mean, take a bite. Imaginary glitter starts going around your head. The euphoria of happiness is hitting your brain. Your tongue is high-fiving your taste buds. It is mind-blowing how phenomenal this salted caramel buckwheat crepe is at the Breizh Café. I promise you, you will not want to miss that crepe. It will ruin you for all crepes to come ever again in your life. All right. Third treat, but number one on my list, and I never miss it. It doesn't matter if it's 100 degrees. I don't know what that is in Celsius. Maybe 30 something. It doesn't matter if it's 20 degrees. Again, I don't know what that is in Celsius. I always make sure when in Paris, I find time to go stand in line at Angelina's. It's right across from the Louvre, and it is so good. All the food is so good, but the one thing that brings me back over and over and over again is their hot chocolate that is undescribable. You literally almost feel as you're drinking this, it's so rich, it's so divine. It's chocolate perfection, and you literally feel drunk. And what better drunk can you be than on chocolate? I will flip my camera around. This chocolate is just incredible. It comes in that carafe, and they give you this giant thing of chantilly, and I cannot stress enough that this is a lot. So make sure to find a friend or spend a lot of time drinking it yourself, but you can easily split it with somebody, and there will be more than enough for both of you. Just thinking about it, if you're watching this and you're headed to Paris soon, I'm jealous. I'm just gonna think about Angelina's and how delicious it is and how much you're gonna enjoy it. So make sure to get to Angelina's and have that hot chocolate. Make sure to get to Breizh Café and have that salted caramel buckwheat crepe. And make sure to find one of the locations, the one I went to is in Le Marais as well, of the Merveilleux de Fred. Or as my husband and I called it, let's get to Fred's place and have one of those things. So, delicious travels to you. I hope you get there, and more to come from this fellow foodie, and my life is an endless vacation.